Alright, so hello everyone. I am RyuSeishin, and racing with me today will be Edgeworth. We would like to go ahead and say hi.
Hello, hello.
For those who may not be too familiar with the Ancient Cave Rando race of Earthbound, it will take your original Earthbound game and mixes everything up quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, so on it separates the game as a whole into several different floors. There's 9 of them in total, and each the enemy scaling and enemy varieties are such that you will actually see some good progression as well as the randomized items. Uh, any of the key item doors that or paths that you might want to go to are considered skips. So this includes the monkey cave, which is the trading sort of mini game that's in Earthbound. We won't be doing that. We'll be showing you all 9 floors, and the goal at the end, of course, is to beat Gygus. But getting there is the fun tricky part.
Getting there, being the tricky part, you are not wrong about that. Seeing as how we do still have to collect equipment, accessories, weapons, along with gain levels along the way to survive the fights that we run into. And aside from the things that have been mixed up, there's a few things that have been made a little nicer for us. So we will actually have text speed at ludicrous speed, so text will be flying by the screen rather quickly. We will also be able to run as if we have already eaten a skip sandwich, so movement will be much faster than the vanilla game. We can also discard items rather quickly by pressing R, as well as check item chests and speak to people using just the L button instead of having to go through the menu like normal. And perhaps my most favorite part is once we get to the end, we will be able to shorten the guy's fight by not having to watch all of the cutscenes you would normally watch when fighting him.
Right, so just getting loaded up on my end. I heard we're dragons today.
That is correct. The winner for the sprite selection is dragons.
Alright, and if I have the name order correctly, we have Ness as Awu, Paula as Achu, Jeff as Amu, and then Pooh as Apu.
That is correct. Thank you for all your donations.
Forget what was our checksum name. I got Roan Brent.
It was the same thing I got as well.
Okay, cool.
Okay, while they're getting set up here, this would be a good time to remind you that this is Speedrun Ragnarok 2019, being hosted by the lovely RPG Valkyries, and we are here to raise money for the Take That organization. Or Take This, not Take That. Ooh. Take This seeks to decrease stigma and increase support for mental health among game makers and game players. They have a lot of cool programs. Right now, we're trying to raise $10,000, which is the approximate cost of one of their AFK rooms that they put on at conventions across the country, which are great mental health calming spaces. They're really cool. We have a bunch of prizes. If you use the prizes command, our prizes are changing every day. Today we got a bunch of awesome Pokemon themed prizes. So we got some Pokemon bead sprites and some Pokemon pins, and you could win a custom emote. So go check those out.
Oops, let me not do that.
Also, just to remind you of some upcoming goals for the Ring Terror's Realm, we have a goal to watch the cutscenes, which is currently at $107 of 150. So we're actually getting pretty close on that one. So just a few more dollars to push that over. We're also nearing the $7,500 milestone, so that's super exciting. It's only Thursday and we're almost 3/4 of the way to our goals, so thank you everyone for your generous donations and keep them coming in.
These names are great.
And it looks like you're almost done with your naming here, so I'm gonna turn it over to our runners.
It should be just another moment. I had a little slip of the
Full start.
yep. Alright, and just like that, back at the yep nope screen. You ready to go, Edge?
Yeah, whenever you are.
Would our lovely host mind giving us a countdown, please?
Yes, I can do that. Okay. On go. 3, 2, 1, go.
So the first thing we're going to be looking for is some sort of equipment, along with getting a few early fights in for some experience, which early on fights will take a little bit of time here, since we have no equipment to start.
Yeah, one of the things that you'll find a lot of are those initial hospital rooms. There are a lot of forks that are just that come out of those.
And speaking of those forks, I think that's something we actually forgot to mention. There are loops, so occasionally you can take a pathway that will lead you right back to somewhere you had already been. Along with dead ends, meaning you have to turn around and start all over, searching again.
Also, the sprites are shuffled, so very often you'll see someone sunbathing instead of an ATM machine.
Not only is the layout and the pathways you get to take randomized, but yes, all of the character sprites are randomized, the enemy sprites are randomized, the palettes are randomized.
Yeah, one of the more interesting decisions to make is when you come into a town area, just because of the sheer number of entrances that are there. You have a lot of decisions to make.
Town. Towns can be a nightmare, but there can also be some rooms that well, at least you get a nice song out of them, but you lose a good couple of minutes of.
I forget what screen has the most entrances. I know Tucson's up there.
3 is pretty bad for entrances.
Yeah. Oh, Summers as well. Oh, found a loop.
So, as someone who's not familiar with this rando at all, like, what's the ultimate goal here? What is the end state?
We need to sort of bumble our way through the maze until we find Gygus and then defeat him. But the big issue, like I said, is getting there, and we have to fight the shiny spot guardians, as you would in the vanilla game, except they have been shuffled as well. So I don't know who I'm going to run into as the first boss, but it might just be I don't know, what were some of the more funny ones we've had, like a rowdy mouse.
Yeah, Rowdy Mouse has been a fun one. I believe we've run into Frank a couple of times on Shiny. Worthless Protoplasm can be a fun boss to fight. So even the bosses can be shuffled amongst some of the regular enemies you might meet. So you could still run into some of the more tougher bosses, such as those who might be familiar with Diamond Dog, but you can still run into some of the much easier bosses as well.
It's funny, most runners of this complain about Diamond Dog. My least favorite, I think, is Ness's Nightmare. That is a very brutal fight if you don't have any defense against Flash Omega.
And one other thing, as I continue to remember things, since there are so many things that are mixed up here, is your stats and that you gain from leveling are also mixed. So by the end of the game, you could have a team that is really buff, really weak, or somewhere in between, or mixed up there.
Is it like still the same total number, but the distribution between characters can be different, or is the number randomized?
That is a just complete randomization, so it doesn't distribute the same amount. So one level It could be really good for all of them, or it could, some one level somebody might get nothing, another person gets a ton of stats. There's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, it can be pretty dangerous at times, especially when your character that needs to use prey at the end has like 100 health.
That reminds another thing that's mixed up is the prayer skill, which is what you actually need to use in order to take on the final boss, is another one of those things that gets which in this case, we have Apu, who will be using the prayer skill. In the vanilla game, that would be Paula who gets to use that.
This is a heck of a floor 1. Alright, I got a hamburger. It's a nice tie into the last run.
I got a bag of fries to go with the hamburger.
Together we have a full meal. That was a very, very long dead end.
So are like the enemy stats scaled to the area in any way? Or are they
Yes.
just how they were in the original game?
So the enemies that you run into will be scaled to be more in line with the floor that you're on. The later floors will, of course, have the more difficult, harder enemies from so by the time you get to the last floor, you will be fighting enemies that would be equivalent to what you would see in the end game of the vanilla game.
Yeah, so don't worry, one of us is probably going to get Starstormed in the face.
So are there any enemies you're like hoping not to see or are very afraid of or are free?
Mooks.
Yeah, Mooks. 100% Mooks. And it's just because the distribution of the entrances means that we don't reliably know where a hospital is going to be, so we have to rely on not getting diamondized. And when that happens, that's real bad.
And mooks have the ability to use a spell that will turn your characters into diamond, which is an equivalent to death. They still are just as useless as if they were dead. They also have really powerful magic that can just one-shot you anyways. Or in this particular game, psychic skills that can one-shot you. And yeah, the hospitals, the sanctuary spots where you can receive a heal are also mixed up. You are guaranteed to have one sanctuary spot per floor for a full heal, though. It's just a matter of if you find it.
Oh, I just got the background guy butterfly chased me down from about 5 miles away. Let's see, we've done this, we've done this.
So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to ask you some questions I see in chat here.
No, go ahead.
Mike the Magician asks, I'm curious how the rando prevents you from fighting Gygus before you beat the Guardian guys.
I think that's largely up to the way the algorithm shakes out. Just the way the entrances are stacked up, you really can't get to Gygus without either taking skips or going through all of the entrances as intended. So the algorithm does a really nice job of shuffling the floors.
Yeah, basically, you're not likely to survive the enemies on the later floors, other than by being very good at dodging, or has some excellent run luck. And then with the more popular version of this, which is skipping floors using either the rooms where you run into where you can trade items to use another door entrance, or a few other skips such as using the eraser, the pencil eraser, or waiting at the waterfall. You can skip to other floors, and I believe you can skip up to 3 floors at once.
And then Mr. Devlin says, how do you tell what floor you're on?
Usually by the enemy types that you run into and whether or not you've seen the shiny spot boss. So that's the big demarcation between floors. You can't unless you're doing skips, you can't go to another floor without fighting the shiny spot boss. If you are doing skips, then you have no idea what floor you ended up on, and you just have to figure it out from context.
So are there any seeds that aren't beatable? Like, that are just impossible?
None that I've run into.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think so. There's some that you could get yourself into a difficult situation just from you know, if you've saved in a bad spot and you die, but most of the times the seeds are pretty beatable.
Plus, I suppose as long as you have somewhere to heal, you can just take random encounters until you're leveled high enough.
Yeah.
Having a hotel nearby to rest at, as well as a telephone to save at, and saving often is typically a good.
Whew. So there are some enemies that are also fixed. Things like the sentry robot and the hieroglyphs. They're fixed to certain rooms, and that hasn't changed in the randomizer. So if you run into one of those on early floors, you can get a lot of experience early and get a nice leg up on things.
So if people were interested in trying out this Earthbound randomizer, where would they go?
If I remember correctly, and I had just pulled it up too, I believe the website should be earthbound.app.
Earthbound.app, and it's pretty easy to get started. Let's see.
Oh, that was a terrible first floor.
Oh, you're telling me. I'm still not done with it.
Oh, yes, and the names of enemies are also mixed up between each seat as well. Well, good news is there is something that me and Edge agreed upon prior to this, which there's a moment in the game where you run into a door where you get to name the player. So yourself, the person who is playing the game. And we have both collectively decided that our player name shall be SRR 2019.
So, he who is pale asks, does the algorithm have logical locks, like making sure the player has the Franklin badge before forcing them to fight the carpenter or carpainter?
No, not at all, unfortunately. The good news is typically Carpenter is a optional boss. But there are bosses that you run into where having the Franklin badge would be rather nice, including the Gaius fight.
Yeah, Kraken will show up sometimes as one of the Shining Spot bosses, and that is no fun without a Franklin badge.
There are guaranteed to be, if I remember correctly, anywhere from 1 to 3 Franklin badges dispersed amongst I want to say floors 3, 5, and 7, if I remember correctly. Um, so a lot of times it's just a matter of, did you find it?
Alright. Get me off this merry-go-round.
So who's your favorite party member?
I've got to go with Pooh on that one. Aside from being the weakest attack and defense-wise, he typically tends to be the strongest psychic attacks-wise.
I gotta go with Jeff, just because I am a big proponent of bottle rockets.
He does have those cool glasses, too.
Undeniably. This isn't a shop.
So what items are you hoping to see in your randomized shops?
The big one that I like to see is the heavy bazooka. That is so nice to find.
Shop items. Personally, I like getting to find the secret herbs, or horns of life, but secret herbs are much. Horns of life will, if I remember correctly, or a 100% chance to be revived. Secret herbs have a 50-50 chance to revive your party member. And being able to revive people is pretty handy a lot when you get to the later floors, and one battle can wipe your whole. And speaking of those locked floors, this is another one of those floors that is locked to have typically weak enemies, and usually it's always the same ones, no matter what, rather rooms. No matter what floor you're on, this room's almost always it's the items, however, that you get from the chests you find that can be different. I think the other shop that we typically like finding is the Earth Pendant shop, so long as we have a good $12,000 on.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that you can typically find, but yeah, I think that's the only pendant you can buy, right?
And as far as items that we would love to find, I know me personally, I like finding the cherub bands, and definitely a rabbit's foot for Jet. And then of course star pendants are always a plus to find as well.
Oh, I just got a fresh egg. We can validate the run now.
Just now got one. I bought one of those ages ago. Oh, well, I got another fresh egg, so. Let's see. The mouse I just ran into reminds me of one more feature. I'm gonna keep remembering them as we go, since there are quite a few. You have a exit mouse in your inventory. In the normal game, using the exit mouse will just take you back to the entrance of the dungeon you were in. In this one, you can actually set a waypoint with the mouse and use the mouse to return you back to that same point. So, for example, if you were all the way to Gigas, but did not have health or psychic points in order to try and go and fight him, you could set a waypoint there, go look for a hospital, some way of restoring health, and then waypoint your way right back to him.
I'm finding all kinds of dead ends today.
So how did y'all get into running this randomizer?
For me, it was the first person I saw running it, whose name actually escapes me at the moment. I know there had been a randomizer for this for actually quite some time. And then the only issue with that one was there was never a guarantee you would finish a seed. In fact, I don't think anybody ever found a seed that was finishable. And somebody reworked that, who is Chaztastic, the creator of the current randomizer. Yeah, I really don't remember who it was I first saw doing it.
Yeah, for me it was Nirm was the first person I saw run it, and we did a few races together, just casual, on the Angry Larry Discord, and no, I really enjoyed it. Can I use the eraser on the pencil eraser?
Okay, this is probably a good time to remind you about some upcoming bid wars. Our next run after this one is the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic run. And for that, you can donate to Name the Character, which has a 16 character limit. Currently, Darth Revan is winning with $130, and Oscar Isaac is in second with $31. So if you want to change that, you can, of course, donate through the end of this run. We also, later in the day, have Pokemon Let's Go coming up. Right now, the trainer and the rival do not have any names. They have no donations. So if you want to spend a single dollar, donate a single dollar to a good cause, you might be able to name the trainer or the rival after your favorite person or thing or chocolate, which is my favorite thing. We also have the Name the Eevee, which is currently $7 for Nikos. So if you want to change that, get your donations in. The Starmie is Leggies. And, but it is only at $10, so it'll be super easy to change that. Just a small donation can get you those Pokemon names.
The second floor is shaping up to be just as bad as the first floor.
Yeah, there's a lot on that floor. The leads can definitely flip back and forth for sure.
Some of the sprite swaps are super funny.
The sprite swaps are great. I love the work that they've done on all the custom sprites for the characters as well. I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of doors in my future.
Outlook good.
Well, we have a death.
Bears,
Oh.
please. So what's the penalty? Do you just go back to the last place you saved, I'm assuming?
You go to the last place you saved, and you lose half your money. At least your
Okay.
on-hand money. If you were smart and stored your money in the ATM, well, you don't lose anything.
Yeah, the biggest penalty for this mode though is remembering where the heck the last hospital you saw was.
Oh yeah, that's a good point because the save points in the hospitals are not necessarily near each other. I didn't even think of that until now.
Yeah, there's that too, because you can only bring people back at either a hospital, a mice sanctuary, or if you have either a secret herb or horn of life, or later in the game if you have healing gamma or mega gamma.
Yeah, there's a couple of non-standard resurrection spots that are kind of nice to find, like the palace in Dalam, Dungeon Man's Head, the exit to the pyramid. But for the most part, you gotta find those hospitals.
Let's say I think the only others ones that are available is the brain don't the two hot springs, the one in Mr. Saturn Village and the one in Tinda Village.
So how long have y'all been playing this randomizer? And were you a big fan of the vanilla game and that's what got you interested in playing it in the first place?
I've probably been playing the randomizer for maybe about a year now. Big fan of the speedruns of the original, and also just playing the original. It was probably one of my favorite RPGs growing.
Yeah, same. I was a big fan of vanilla. Never really got into the speedruns so much, but I really love the Mother series in general. All three games, I think, are absolutely fantastic.
Oh, that was a good waste of 30 seconds for me. I played the despawn game, and then realized that can't go that path.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
That's a surefire sign that Ed just found something nice, or found something he doesn't like.
No, it's something very nice. It's an Auto Star Master, which is an item it's distributed randomly through the dungeon, but it allows Pooh to learn Starstorm Alpha, and then if you find another one, you can learn Starstorm Omega. But It's a little overkill.
Okay, and if you don't mind me cutting in here, I have a pair of $5 donations from Silver Moon 9000. And their first one says, "Let's go Velk for Take This." And they have donated that $5 towards naming the flyer in Pokemon Red, Velk's Info. And their second donation says, "Velk's Hype for Pokemon." And they have donated that $5 towards naming the Paris in Pokemon Red, Velk's Wants. So thank you very much, Silver Moon, for those donations. If you want to get in on that bid war, we do have Pokemon Red coming up later today, and there are still a lot of names for that up for grabs. The rival name is up for grabs with no donations, and all the other Pokemon names only have $5. So for the low price of $6, you could get a Pokemon named after you. So please look at those bid wars.
I love the randomized names, too. I just fought a hippie that was named the Forest Nut.
The randomized enemy names are great.
Oh, and I got one more $5 donation, also from Silver Moon 9000, that says, "Always Natara, Velk's Evil," and they are naming the rival in Pokemon Red, Natara. So thank you so much for that.
Oh boy.
I feel like I've missed a door somewhere, possibly.
So what's your favorite enemy sprite? I'm a huge fan of the duck sprite. Just those big, startled duck eyes.
The duck is pretty great. Cool.
Ducks are good. I still think the Worthless Protoplasms are probably my favorite.
I said duck, not goose. Ducks don't honk. They quack.
That problem we were mentioning about dying and losing your path. Another big time sink, of course, is missing door. There are so many entrances in this game that sometimes you can't remember all of them.
Yeah, I'm kind of spinning my wheels here myself, so that's a charm.
Okay. Well, then it'd probably be a good time to read this $10 donation from Prof. Ness that says, I see Voltus is running this time, and I'm glad to see that Zeal's back in action. But if Evermore is on the schedule, I gotta put one in for the Flex Sanctuary, my second portal to the Twitch community after Yagamoth. And that donation is towards naming the dog in Secret of Evermore, Doof Doof. That Secret of Evermore run is happening tomorrow.
The divorced bear.
That poor bear. I wonder if the divorced bear was with the deadbeat slam.
You're just hanging out in the bar together. Sounds legit.
Oh, it's a good thing those smash attacks from those deadbeat slimers do not hurt one bit. I would have died several times over. You know what? I did forget an entrance. I get to have everybody in my party back to life. Yay! So this is one of your sanctuary places, which acts as a 100% full heal.
And this is probably a good time to remind you that this is Speedrun Ragnarok 2019, hosted by the RPG Valkyries. We are here supporting Take This. Takes this Takes This's vision for the game for game communities is to welcome and support people experiencing mental health challenges, as well as to recognize the humanity and mental health of game creators. One cool thing that Take This does is they advocate for the mental health of game development. As you know, crunch culture is a big problem with the gaming industry right now, and Take This is doing a lot of white papers to help companies combat that and take care of their workers that make these wonderful games for us. You can, of course, donate via the donate command in the chat. And by donating any amount, you'll be entered to win our lovely prizes. We have different prizes for each day. Today, since we have our Pokemon block coming up later, we have Pokemon-themed prizes. We have a awesome set of like a dozen Pokemon pins that look super cool. And we also have some Pokemon bead sprites. And we also have you could win a custom emote, so that's pretty cool, I think.
Finally found my way. Off to floor 3 I go. And just a quick PSA because of that particular background for that fight. For anybody who is epileptic or is at risk of seizures, this game can and most definitely is capable of causing those at certain moments. The most specific warning I can give, considering the palettes for the enemy fights are randomized, is at the very end of the game, when we defeat the final boss. That is most definitely a moment to look.
Yeah, Gygus is a big fan of the old flashy lights, so better play it safe.
Shield Epsilon, that's a good one to have.
Those are some rude corpses.
So I've been asked to pop in with questions. One question I have about this randomizer is what exactly, like, what do you need for go mode? What are you looking for? I see you running around going to lots of different places, but, like, how far along are you on the seed? Like, what sort of key items have you picked up? What do you need to finish this game?
Well, that's kind of debatable amongst different runners. Me personally, I prefer that Paula has the Sight Shield Epsilon, because Sight Shield Epsilon will absorb the damage of what is typically in the game named Rockin', but you get to choose your own name for it, which I've chosen Randos as always. It will block that attack, which can typically kill you depending on how much health you have and what type of equipment you have. Aside from that, Franklin badges are great to have, since those will not quite guarantee that you can win, but they definitely help. And a star pendant, at least one for the person who is going to be casting prayer, to prevent any type of flash attacks from doing instant kills when fighting Gygas as well.
So you're not hunting for any particular go mode items, it's just you're trying to make sure you have high enough levels and good enough gear to actually go?
For me, basically yes.
Yeah, I think there's certain stat limitations as well. So you end up quite often in no skips finishing around level 40. But really what you're looking for is enough survivability on whoever has the pray command. And sometimes you just, if you don't, especially if you don't have a Franklin badge, you really just need some extra HP.
So you say by whoever has the pray command. Is it possible for someone who's not Paula to have the pray command?
Yep, that gets shuffled up.
Oh, do we know who has it here? In this seed?
I think it's Pooh.
Okay.
Yeah, Pooh has our prey command in this seed.
So it's Pooh we're gonna have to send our energy to. Is that Apu? I love it. I like how Pooh's the only one who basically kept their name, except, you know, you got an A. Congrats.
But it rhymes with all the other names.
Listen, it is absolutely perfect. I just love how close that one is. But still fitting into the scheme.
Oh no, the criminal scorpion.
I have some damaged ghosts and some graceful geists, so.
But just to make sure I'm understanding, really this run is just a maze you're trying to find the end of, right?
Yeah. And
Pretty much.
Yep. Oh, I think this was a loop. There's plenty of chests that you can sort of find incidentally on the way through. But the item quality does go up significantly the further you go through, so it's very important to crack open as many chests as possible. Because, hey, I found a Franklin badge on level 1.
Ooh, I did not find that.
Oh, I mean, not in this run, but I think it was, yeah.
Had me worried there for a moment.
No.
Just some questions from chat here. Are the required levels to fight Gigas around the same as you need for the vanilla game?
Not really sure if there's actually a required level to fight him.
Or just survivable levels?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. Can you live through it all?
And that was from Mr. Devlin. And from GB0, is there anything you would like to see changed or added to the randomizer?
This could already be a feature, and I'm just ooh, a point of defense. How lovely. I'm just not aware of it. I wouldn't mind actually seeing abilities switched around. Rather the psychic abilities switched around. So let's say maybe Jeff could have Cyrokin, and Paula ends up with Starstorm, if even possible. I'd have to talk to Chaz about that one.
Alright. I was gonna sell the chicken, but we need to use it instead.
You're going to sell a chicken?
I know. Some kind of monster.
And speaking of those cherub bands I was talking about, just found one.
Oh, you're gonna like this. Also, if you found that, you're not that far behind either.
I was behind? Thought I was ahead.
Oh, a little bit. I had a really lucky floor too.
Oh, so you were spinning your wheels on floor 3 and not floor 2.
Yeah.
Sorry, Albert, we must kill the cow. Poor Moo, who turned into a very venomous mole.
Yeah. Amu is not happy about it.
Mole Cave never disappoints.
No, Mole Cave was stacked today.
And as a side note, here's where you could get a replacement mouse if you've used it. So anywhere where the exit mouse would normally appear in the game, if you run into there and you don't have a mouse, you can pick a new one up.
Oh, can you imagine if floors were allowed to duplicate? I mean, rooms.
Ooh.
Congratulations. It's all twosons.
That would just be rude.
I don't want to give Chaz any ideas. I'll keep that one to myself.
So are all the battle backgrounds randomized too?
Yeah, they've definitely messed with the slid some numbers around. You can get some seriously trippy backgrounds. Oh no, be gone, Fabi.
Oh god, no. No fobbies. Those give me nightmares from the last run. I actually like the fact that the layers are they're made up, or the backgrounds are made up of different layers of images for the animations. So you can actually take different layers and mix them up with each other, which is what the randomizer does, and then change the palette of them.
Yeah, because some of the backgrounds I've seen are really interesting.
Boy, when you say that the mole cave was stacked, that is no joke.
There's so much good stuff in there.
Apu approves.
Hello. Apparently it's cat time.
Kitty commentary.
I was just gonna say, whose cat is saying hi and you're the best commentator ever? Whose cat is that?
That is my cat.
Well, everyone say hi to our lovely new co-commentator, the kitty. What's the kitty's name?
Mila.
Hi, Mila. Everyone say hi to Mila.
Hi, Mila. Mila, you want to come up? Here, you want to hop up?
We love you too, kitty. Listen, this is a pet-friendly stream. We're very happy to have your puppers and your kitties and any other animals that make less noises.
Tell us about your pets in chat.
Yes, please. We want to hear all about them. And post any cool pet emotes you have in chat. Let's fill this chat with cuteness to support Mila.
I would say Mila agrees.
Mila knows her value.
So what's the longest seed you've ever had?
Probably my first one. That took me about 6 hours, just because familiarity with the game and where to go, what doors were doors that you could use, which ones are blocked off.
Yeah, I imagine that it takes a while to memorize all the maps. Did either of you vanilla speedrun this game, or did you just go right into the randomizer?
I went right into the randomizer. Although I did watch Background Guy do a fair amount of speedrunning of this. It's an intimidating run. There's a lot to remember.
The same would go for me as well. I definitely have watched BGT do several of vanilla runs as well.
And when I was talking about prizes earlier, I forgot to mention our grand prize, which is the Bloodstained Prize Pack, which includes a copy of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and it's the Kickstarter edition, so it comes with all sorts of fun baubles and extras. It has an OST, a pin, a keychain, and you can, of course, check that out on our prize tracker. And if you donate at any point during the marathon, any amount, you are entered. And Shalo's reminding me that that is the Switch bundle, so it makes sure you have a Switch. But if you donate any amount, you are automatically entered to win that prize, so that is pretty cool.
So you're saying I'm gonna have to buy a Nintendo Switch?
Yes, Switch is not included. We do not have a GDQ budget, unfortunately. Maybe one day. This marathon has gotten a lot bigger, so you never know.
Well, that would certainly give me incentive to purchase a Nintendo Switch, as if there's not already plenty others.
I accidentally dropped my baseball bat because I thought it was a Mr. Baseball cap instead of a bat.
Oh, don't feel bad. I accidentally dropped a crystal charm. That is my #1 favorite feature of this game, is the rolling health bars, because that just saved me.
It really is a unique mechanic that I like a lot. Just it adds sort of that element of urgency and speed to the fights that you know, a lot of the turn-based RPGs generally don't have. So.
And one other thing I want to mention is we have merchandise available. So we have some awesome Speedrun Ragnarok t-shirts and hoodies, and you can get them from you can get the link from the chat command shirts, and they look really cool. They have the Speedrun Ragnarok logo on them, and all the money, all the profits from those items are going directly to Take This, so check those out. The shirts look really nice. I'm gonna order one pretty soon now.
Yeah, they come in a bunch of different colors, don't they?
Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna go for purple.
Yeah, same.
Shala Kitty mentions that we've raised an extra $250 that way, so good job, everybody.
Let's see if we can See if we can give folks a show here.
Oh Lord, that background. And I have a $5 donation from Prof NES that says, donating to get 2.5 chances to be banned or not banned by Natara. And to acknowledge that, as much as we love it, the Untitled Goose Game is the opposite of good for mental health. And they are donating towards naming the Pokemon Red rival Goose. So thank you so much, Prof Ness, for your donation.
And goodbye to floor 3. Hello, floor 4.
Ooh. I just found the hint guy. We are in for some zesty floors.
Yeah, 7 and 8.
Even 6 is going to be a little rough.
I don't know. I mean, 8. That we get both of our least favorites. For anybody who was watching when we spoke to the hint guys, the hint guy will tell you what the boss you're going to be facing is on each floor. Floor 7 is going to be Ness's Nightmare, which Edge mentioned was his least favorite. And floor 8 is going to be Diamond Dog, which I mentioned was my least favorite. So, huzzah.
Why are those your least favorite?
So for Ness's Nightmare, no, Ness's Nightmare knows Flash Omega and Rockin' Omega, so it's pretty rough. It is kind of a scripted fight, but you can definitely get wrecked pretty easy in that fight. And Carbon Dog and Diamond Dog are they're rude. They're just universally rude.
My main issue with Carbon Dog and Diamond Dog is one of them one of them has a shield to physical attacks. You physical attack it, and wow, that's a great sanctuary. If you attack it, it takes that damage and sends it right back at you, and can really ruin your day. And then the other form, once it switches about halfway through the fight after you do enough damage, it will reflect all magic attacks until that shield has been removed. So any magic attacks get reflected back onto you and can ruin your day. If I remember properly, it's Carbon Dog, which is the first form, does not like magic, and then Diamond Dog, the second form, does not like physical.
I think that's correct.
I hope that's correct, otherwise I'm gonna have a bad day. So kind of cuts your damage that you can output in half. Since Paula and Pooh are mostly going to be doing magic damage, whereas Ness and Jeff will be mostly doing physical damage, specifically Jeff's bottle rock.
Yeah, and that's where some of the durability concerns come into play, because sometimes you can have a character that just has enough HP to sort of tank a hit, but it's not looking so good this run.
Oh no, a tree.
Leave me alone.
Trees are known for exploding in this game and doing massive amounts of damage. Although that's been randomized amongst enemies too, if I remember correctly, so sometimes a random duck might explode after defeating it, do mass damage to
I remember when that first happened. It was my turn to curse Chaz out.
Oh, that's a fun loop.
So what's your least favorite map?
Underground.
Yeah, great underground. By far. It's just so slow.
Especially if you run into it on later floors. It's a huge, giant area that you do not move very quickly through, and enemies still move at their normal speed, so avoiding them is next to impossible.
So how do you like to balance, like, defeating enemies to get experience versus skipping enemies to increase your speed? How do you balance that?
A lot of times you just end up fighting all the enemies anyway. Just because the run command is pretty unreliable until you get a rabbit's foot. But there are certain enemies that are worth a heck of a lot more experience than others, and those are typically the guys you go after. And you can make up a lot of ground if you just go after enemies at the end of the game. And that's kind of the strategy you take if you're playing a skips run as opposed to a no skips run.
Two cherubs bands and two goddess bands. Seeds being very giving now.
Yeah, I was very happy to see those.
So do you think that one death is the big difference between where you guys are at right now?
Bit possible.
I think that makes sense.
Okay, fine. 3 got us banned. Wow.
So how difficult has this seed been compared to your average seed?
I'd say this feels pretty normal. It's starting to pick up a lot more pace now that we've gotten through the first few floors.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell because a lot of the floors, the time on the floors is going to depend on how complicated they are. And we saw a lot of the large entrance floors early on. We saw Summers, Forside, Tucson.
Tucson, you know,
Yeah,
Moonside.
yeah, Moonside was there too.
We only have not. Also, we saw the desert. That's a huge place to just for distance, not even amount of doors. Yeah, we still have Onet and Threed, along with Winters. We still have a few of the larger floors to go through, or larger rooms to possibly. Floor 5.
Where's all the HP?
Oh boy, there's the fobbies.
Yeah. People who've played vanilla would think, "Oh no, they're great experience. Why are we complaining about them?" Because of the way enemy scaling works, those guys hit the gym in one seed, and well, we were getting crunched for what, about like 200 a pop every time they punched us.
Yeah, they definitely did not skip leg day in that seed.
Okay, I'm going to take this time to remind you of some upcoming bid wars. Our next run, directly after this Earthbound randomizer, is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and you can choose the character name. Currently, we have Darth Revan at $130 and Oscar Isaac at $31. So if you want in on that, hit the donation tracker and check it out. We also have our Pokemon block coming up later today, and we have a ton of bid wars for that. We have a bunch of names for Pokemon Let's Go. The trainer and rival name are still untouched, so if you want to name the trainer or rival after your favorite thing, it would take only a $1 donation. We can also name the Eevee, name the Starmie, and name the Starmie, and those are both under $10. So for a very small donation, you could influence those names. We also have some naming incentives for the Pokemon Red Run. We have naming the rival, which Goose and Nutara are currently both tied at $5, but for just $6, you could knock those both out of the running. We also have a name the Nidoran, name the Flyer, and name the Paris. So please check those out.
There is one benefit, and that's a great sprite, to finding the underground. Aside from those of us who really don't care for it, if you're in need of restoration, the geysers on this floor can restore you and revive you.
Dravenheart also just reminded me about the Save the Beard. So Dr. B wants to shave his beard, but if we reach our 10K goal, he has promised to not shave his beard, but instead save the beard. So if you are a lover of fabulous beards, please help us get to our $10,000 goal. We are just shy of 7,500, so we are almost 3/4 of the way there, 75%. So please get your donations in and help us save the beard. So what's your favorite background music? Do you have a favorite track?
I'm gonna go with Paula's theme.
That's a good question. I really like the Skyrunner sequence, but I also like how chill the music is in Andonut's lab as well. So take your pick between those two. There's a lot of good music in this game, though.
Ooh, I found plain yogurt. I want trout yogurt.
Okay, this is.
Aw, at least it's a polite quacker.
I don't like this at all.
I think a polite quacker is the opposite of a rude goose.
Sounds about right. I have been chased by geese, and it was not polite at all.
So are all the adjectives coming from the base game? It's been so long since I played Earthbound, I don't even know. Or are they being pulled from a custom list?
It's a custom list. There's a lot of Mad Lib fun going on here.
I know I saw Rude Corpse, which is how I feel right when I wake up.
On to floor 6, after defeating the famous Stone Man.
How many floors are there?
9 floors.
Yeah, there's 9 in total. 8 floors that you have to beat a Sanctuary boss, and then the 9th floor, you just have to find Giga.
So great debate time. Is it pronounced Gigas or Gigas?
I'm gonna go with personal preference on that one. I've flip-flopped back and forth between the two so far during this run.
Oh wow, I'm getting some even more interesting pronunciations in chat.
I'm sure one of them is Giga Gas, which, if I remember correctly, that comes from a YouTube video. That was actually pretty hilarious.
Oh, and I got several donations coming in here. We got a $5 donation from Prof Ness or Prof NES. I'm not sure which way I'm gonna go with that. That says, "Come on, we have to get some names in here," and they are the first person to name the trainer in Pokemon Let's Go, and they have named the trainer Space for Rent. Similarly, Prof Ness has donated $5 to name the rival Your Ad Here with the comment "Truth in Advertising %." Thank you so much, Prof Ness, for those donations. We also have a $10 donation from Silver Moon 9000 that says, Nears must be the rival. This was inspired by Newtopia. So thank you very much for that.
Ooh, that was a really close fight. So I forget the drop down in the pyramid. That's a skip as well, right?
If you could actually take it, yes. We tested that last time, and it doesn't actually let you.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow, the bid war for the rival name in Pokemon Red has been going back and forth, and we have a couple of associated donations. We have Jagdogger with a $6 donation with no comment, but thank you very much for your donation. And we have a $10 donation from, I don't know if I've heard of this person, Nitera? That sounds right. Who says, you know who the true rival is. And they have the little Velk's evil emote. And those went towards naming the rival Natara. So Natara is currently at $25 with a second place name of Goose at just $5. So thank you everyone for your donations. Oh, I just noticed we have officially reached $7,500. We are officially 75% to our goal of $10,000. Thank you, everyone, for your generosity. That's really going to help out Take This. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
So yeah, the HP situation could be a lot better. What do you say?
I missed 100% of what you said there. I had a robot blowing up.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying the HP. This is not as good as it could be.
Oh, that's okay. A Franklin badge is always as good as it could be.
Yeah, the gear has been kind, but the stat ups not so much.
It's always one or the other, isn't it?
And I have one additional $5 donation from Jag Dogger that says, "Gotta save the beard! No shave equals epic beardness." Thank you so much. And this is probably a good time to remind you all why we're here. This is Speedrun Ragnarok 2019, hosted by the wonderful RPG Valkyries. And we are here supporting Take This. Take This is an organization that promotes mental health in the gaming community. They advocate for developer mental health, and one of the good services they provide is the AFK rooms. So AFK rooms are nice, quiet rooms that they bring to cons across the country. And they're staffed with people to talk to, and they're just a good place to, prevent burnout and go and talk to someone and be calm and quiet for a minute. So our goal is raising $10,000, which is the approximate cost of staffing and supplying one of those AFK rooms. But Take This also does a lot of other great things. One great thing they do is they advocate for treating the mental health of game developers appropriately. There's been a lot in the news lately about crunch culture and how bad that is for the mental health of our lovely game developers. So they advocate for good practices, and they provide white papers to help. So good papers and charts and graphs providing information on where to get help, and they want to reduce the stigma around mental health and let you know that you are not alone, that it is okay to not be okay. So that is such a great organization, and we are happy to be raising money for them. And now that I have all that out of the way, how's the treating ya? How you guys doing?
Oh boy. Could be better.
I can agree with that sentiment.
Oh dear. So what's the big problem right now?
I just took a wipe, so other than that, it's
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, characters are not so durable, so I might have to do a little bit of leveling here.
I'm just feeling like a little bit of going in circles. Floor 7 just feels like another one of those really large floors.
So do you prefer your large floors earlier when there's easier enemies, or later or mid-game? What's your preference?
I definitely prefer getting the larger floors and larger areas, especially like the towns, out of the way early.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, especially because you can save a fair amount of time if you find one of those fixed enemies that don't scale. And then you can get everything to run away from you, and it's It's pretty good when that happens.
So, someone who's not super familiar with Earthbound, what's the best equipment you're looking for?
Star Pendant by far. That gives you a lot of elemental immunity and immunity to flash as well, which is the big one that you want for the final boss, so that you just don't get insta killed. The Pixie Bracelet, the Goddess Band, and the Cherub Band are also all fantastic, which is why it was a little ridiculous that we found like 6 of those just kicking around on floor 5.
So, if nothing else, at least the equipment is being kind today.
Yep.
I just brought a chew back to life. The old Saporma.
Ode to the Orange Kid. Greatest song ever.
And I have a generous $10 donation from Silvermoon 9000 that says it's dangerous to go alone. Take This, Nidoran. And that was donated towards naming the Nidoran Take This. So thank you very much, Silver Moon. Which, just to update you on some of those Pokemon Red bid wars, the Nidoran is now named Take This at $10. And under that is Jaws77 for $5. So if you want to change those, it's still not that expensive. And while you're at it, check out our naming incentives for Pokemon Let's Go. Let's Go. We still have Name the Trainer, Name the Rival, Name the Eevee, and Name the Starmie. And they're all pretty inexpensive right now. So if you've had a dream of having an Eevee named after you, I know I have, go check those out. So do you two run any other randomizers, or are you just doing Earthbound?
I actually run several. Aside from Earthbound, I also run Dragon Warrior and Dragon Warrior 4, and occasionally I will run Final Fantasy 4 Free Enterprise as well.
Yeah, I will run Final Fantasy Randomizer, Link to the Past Randomizer, Dragon Warrior Randomizer. I haven't tried. I've not tried the Dragon Warrior 4 Randomizer though. That does sound interesting.
Yeah, I'm all over Free Enterprise right now. That's my favorite. It was cool. Earlier this week, they showed off some of the new features in this marathon, so that was super cool. Oh, that background. It burns.
Yeah, I think the Free Enterprise is a great randomizer. It's one of those randomizers that it's very easy to get into, but it also has a really high skill ceiling as well. So it's fun for newer players and for vets as well.
Just getting back to Earthbound, what are the things you like about this randomizer? What makes it fun?
Just you have to solve. It's not the sort of solving the same problem over and over again. With the sort of the randomization, you have to figure out, okay, am I going to have to low percent this, or what can I get away with that I normally couldn't? So it just gives you a lot of interesting decisions, and it's also it can also be pretty tough on you too. You have to plan ahead when it comes to sort of where you're going to save and what places you go, how you explore, what gear you're looking for. So there's definitely a lot to it, and I don't know. I like the original Ancient Cave and Lufia too. So this is a fun adaptation of it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I really enjoyed the original game. Um, so I mean, having the ability to play it again or play something similar to it, but have a brand new feel to it each time. Which I mean, that's the reason I play any randomizer, really.
Yeah, I personally like how randomizers turn games into a puzzle. It's, can you do this thing with these items, these stats, and these characters? I'm a big fan of puzzle games in general, and it turns an old game into basically a puzzle game.
That and the quality of life improvements that randomizers give, like being able to run faster. I mean, that was always one of the big drawbacks, I think, to a lot of RPGs was that the maps may have been small, but you didn't move very fast across them either. Wow, an eraser would have been a skip all the way to the 7th floor.
Oh, I see we're on the diamond-encrusted dog.
Yeah, this is
He is the shiniest of boys.
I love how that was put. That was great.
yeah, that's gosh, twice now that I've gotten the brutal diamond eyes off the attack. It's kind of one of the reasons I've been taking all of the random fights on the walk back. Just gonna get a couple of levels and try again until it actually works.
And I'd just like to thank Silvermoon9000 for those gift subs. Thank you so much.
Well, I killed all of the moles.
Did you ever figure out which one was the third strongest?
I think it was the 3rd one.
How did I do? Alright, that's definitely gonna help.
I don't think I've talked about prizes in a while. Let's talk about prizes. So by donating anything today, you are entered to win our prizes. Our prizes are changing every day. We have different featured prizes every day of the run. Today, because we have our big old Pokemon block coming up later, we have Pokemon themed prizes. We have a lovely Pokemon pin set. From my understanding, they're based around the Pokemon Go community days. And that includes 16 very beautiful pins. And we also have a Gen 1 Pokemon Bead Sprite set that includes a Venusaur, a Charizard, and a Blastoise. And we, of course, you have a really cool prize. You could win a custom emote made by our very own Shalakitty. So that is very cool. And any donation today of any amount automatically enters you into the running for that. Additionally, we have our grand prize, which is the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night Switch bundle, which includes the game and a bunch of extra bubbles that came with the Kickstarter edition. It has an OST, a pin, a keychain, some stickers. So any donation throughout the entire marathon will enter you into the running for that wonderful prize pack.
So, I promise I did not skip the 7th floor boss. I did, however, show off that you can skip the 7th floor boss.
Come on! Oh.
It appears the Diamond dog is being very rude.
What a rude dog. Bad dog, no biscuit. Yeah, the Diamond Eyes on attack is brutal on your last character alive, because you just straight up can't recover from it. And he seems to be getting it fairly consistently.
Sounds like I have something brutal to look forward to in my future then.
A little bit.
Did we figure out if it's magic first and then physical, or if it was physical first and then magic?
It looks like no shield first and then physical.
So you can do whatever damage you want first, and then second phase is physical only.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Good to know. Asking for a friend.
Slowly getting more and more HP.
And this is a good time to remind you that our next run, the Star Wars Knight of the Old Republic, we will be closing off the donation incentive for the Name the Character at the end of the Earthbound run. So if you want to donate for that, you only have till the end of this run, so get that in soon. Right now we have Darth Revan at $130, and Oscar Isaac at $31. So get those donations in before the end of the Earthbound run.
Wow, talisman coin, shiny coin, and talisman ribbon. Very, very givey with the equips.
Except for star pendants.
I mean, I got an earth pendant and a night pendant at least.
Ooh, I did not find the night pendant.
I feel like there are several loops on this floor.
We have a $6 donation from High Spirits. Ooh, 1 second. There we go. That says, thanks for all the work this week. In honor of Edge, let's name the Pokemon Let's Go rival Diamond Dog. And they have donated that $6 towards naming the rival in Pokemon Let's Go, Diamond Dog. Thank you so much, High Spirits.
Thanks a lot, High Spirits. At least they're not named Red Dragon.
I mean, we do know that those are the bane of your existence when it comes to a different randomizer.
Oh my god, everything. Oof.
The chunky alien.
So with the randomized stats, how are your stats looking right now?
They're very low. The HP total is definitely the bottleneck.
Mm.
Is there any way to make up for that, or do you just have to start over leveling?
Yeah, pretty much just keep leveling. I don't think there's really too much at this point we can do in terms of better equipment, really.
You can make faster inputs as well, but that only helps so much. It's really giving me the business is the sort of the diamond. Yeah, just getting diamondized by Diamond Dog. It instantly takes one person out of the fight, and it's very difficult for me to recover.
Well, my turn to give Carbon Dog a try. I have caught up to you, sir.
Good luck.
Yeah, it looks like the winner now is who's ever getting through Diamond Dog first.
The ill-fated Howler. Boy, is that true. The sulky Bow Wow.
Dog battling intensifies. But our runners are pretty much even right now. They're same, being walled by the same dog. He is the strongest dog. That is correct.
Really is.
Victorious! Whew. If I didn't kill him with that hit, I was dead.
Oh. That was a lot of life. Okay.
Alright, now to go recover.
See, that's how it was supposed to go in one of the first 5 attempts. Yes.
Oh no, you had 5 attempts on it. I feel like I was so far behind up until that point.
Yeah, I mean that tends to go with my. I tend to like to play with lower levels though, and I think the seed I just kind of got quite literally got bit for it. So uh-oh.
So last floor, and I never saw one at. Did you see one at?
Nope. So guess where it's
Oh
gonna
boy,
be?
that's ugly.
Sure is. Oh boy.
Okay, this is probably a good time to remind you all why we are here. This is Speedrun Ragnarok 2019, and we are raising money for Take This. Take This is a mental health nonprofit, and their main mission is to inform the gaming community about mental health issues, provide education on different disorders and prevention techniques, and reduce the overall stigma around mental health. They provide education on mental illness so that friends, family members, and coworkers can be better allies to those who are suffering. They do really great work. You can donate to them with via the donation link I just put up in chat there. And while I got the floor here, I just want to remind you one last time that the bid war for the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic character name will be closing at the end of this Earthbound run. So if you would like to donate to name a Star Wars character after yourself, please do so soon. How's it going over there with you two? Relieved to get through our diamond pupper.
Yes, but holy cow, that hallway with like 7 starmen in it was
Yeah.
absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Oh yeah, I see that on stream now. That is pretty bad.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing we didn't find. Hello, Magicant. Oh, the dragon sprite has Ness with the mussed up hair. This is good.
Actually, to be fair, the ultra eccentric starmen and the irradiated starmen aren't even that bad to take out. They were going down pretty easily, not doing a whole lot to me.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Starman that has
Starstorm?
yeah, Starstorm yet, but I hope to not see them.
Let's just not mention that then. Oh yeah, Magickin. And it keeps giving with a goddess ribbon. Wow. Paula's all but set now.
Oh, found the skip that went all the way here.
Just to answer the question in chat, the custom sprites are dragons, which was voted via a bid war by you, the donators. So thank you very much for donating for dragons. And we have a $30 donation from Chaos Drift that says Slime Ball. And that is for naming the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic character, Blimo. So thank you very much for your donation, Chaos Drift. Just to update you on that naming incentive for our next run, which is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, we have $130 towards Darth Revan, or Raven. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to pronounce that. But in second place, we have Oscar Isaac with $31. And now in third place, we have Slimo with $30. So if you want to change those names, please check out our incentives link.
Ah, lovely. 1F. Well, we have officially seen every town.
Yeah, you hate to see it. So many good items, if only this was 30 minutes ago.
Like all the lucky coins.
Yeah.
Oh no, I know one more town we haven't found. The Blue Village.
Oh, yeah. I haven't done any free shopping.
Also a good reason not to be carpenter, because then it's not free.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
You know, it's a shame. I've got tons of money. The only MBR shop I ever found was in the very beginning, when I was broke.
Pretty much the same. Oh.
Multi-bottle rockets are the preferred weapon for Jeff because they do tons of damage. Especially if you have a rabbit's foot, his speed stat has been very kind.
Criminal vomit.
Yeah, I've ran into those a time or two.
So how'd you all learn how to run this randomizer? Was there guides, or did you just watch other people play, or did you just play around with it until you figured it out?
I'd probably go with a little of all of the above.
Yeah, it was the same for me. A little bit of everything, but definitely helped out being able to watch Nier play this. Because Nirm is a lot more prepared than I tend to be when it comes to speedruns. So he was able to answer a lot of my questions, and then Chaz and Ori Oralux also helped out a lot.
Yeah, Chaz has definitely been a huge help. When I first started running, he was actually sitting in my chat quite a bit. I didn't even know who he was actually at that time. He was just providing all kinds of information and strategies, answering questions I never even knew about the vanilla game.
The vengeful thingy. Oh gosh.
Have you guys raced often before, or is this your first time, or?
Oh, we've definitely done some races before.
Like I say, we raced for another marathon last year. And then we were racing typically about every 1 to 2 weeks, leading up to our race today, just for the diadem, huh?
Yep.
That's a useful object sometimes. So for those who are not familiar, Pooh cannot equip anything really, hence why we have not been giving him any equipment, other than 4 specialized pieces. That's the Sword of Kings, the Diadem of Kings, the Cloak of Kings, and one other I can't remember because it's highly unlikely you'll ever find all 4. Sword of Kings doesn't really do him any good anyway because he's never going to physically attack. The Diadem, Cloak, and the other piece actually do him a great deal of good, though, because it actually gives him some kind of defense. And in this particular one, since he's our prayer, him having a lot of defense is a good idea. Wow, Wow, Brain Shock Omega. I don't think I've ever learned that one before.
Did you ever find a telephone on the last floor?
Now that you mention it, I am not 100% positive on.
I sure didn't.
Wow, a gutsy bat dropped. As tempting as that is, I'm not taking a gutsy bat to Gygus.
It's not the Casey bat. The gutsy bat's the good one.
Yeah, but you're not going to be really doing a lot of physical damage with Ness. So. Oh no, it's a worm. I've never had a good experience when I find those little worms, and I don't even know where they come from or why they're here.
Oh, the criminal caterpillars?
Yeah, those things wreck me anytime I've ever seen.
So you know what I love? I love beards. And Dr. B, who is one of the board members of Take This, has wants to shave his beard, but you can stop the shave and save the beard by reaching our goal of $10,000. Dr. B has agreed not to shave his luxurious beard. So while we have lots of good reasons to donate, such as supporting Take This, having fun with our donations incentives and bid wars, getting in for those prizes, you can also save one very special beard. So please keep that in mind when you're thinking about donating to this marathon.
And yet one more little thing that the randomizer does. Pookie's quotes that he says are randomized as well. In this case, well, I'm not going to say if you.
I was slightly ahead, and then I got double Starstorm
Oh,
in the
wow.
hallway. Yeah. It's kind of like, what is my only out here running away? Nope. Not gonna happen.
So here with the less than stellar health, we are going to hope and pray that we get a Rockin' Alpha and not a Rockin' Beta. If we see Rockin' Beta, we are likely to be dead.
Come on, big money, no whammy.
Basically. And as you can see, thanks to Side Shield Epsilon, that fucking beta did nothing to us, thankfully. And although phase 1 is down, your HP does not stop rolling. And I don't have enough psychic points to bring him back. Well, that's a rip fight.
There's an awful lot of cruelty in this seed.
I'll tell you in a minute if I had a telephone. I did have a telephone closer. Huzzah! Do I have a way of bringing anybody back to life from that telephone? That's the question. Also, wow, why'd the music change? Don't understand.
Yeah, for some reason the Onet music changes if you've seen the Gygus room.
I'm thinking it's probably just better. I'd rather reset, have my full health, and go back to the Gygus fight again.
There's an absurd amount of nastiness on this final floor. And then I just see a crow hanging out up in the corner. I'm like, please come visit.
That's floor 9 for you, typically. Oh no, not a chunky alien. Wait a minute, what are chunky aliens even doing on this floor? That's like 3 floors ago.
Okay.
Okay, while we're battling our way back to Gygus, I do want to remind you that the Star Wars Knight of the Old Republic naming bid war will be closing at the end of this run. So if you want to change the results of that, you will need to get your donations in soon. And while you're there, maybe check out our bid war incentives for the Pokemon block. We have incentives both for Pokemon Let's Go and Pokemon Red. You can name a ton of different things, trainers, rivals, Pokemon, so please check those out.
it a try. I didn't know I was going to be fighting. Oh god. I cast the wrong spell. I cast healing instead of life up. Right. So, phase 2, you don't want to hit Gygus with a physical, because that will let the brain shock fall off.
Yeah, that brain shock strategy was something I learned from Chaz, and I believe you learned it from me.
Yep. The old knowledge relay. Let's reapply the brain shock. And then get brain.
Because if Brain Shock takes away even one flash turn, it's going to be very beneficial for me. Because I am not in mission this right. But yeah, I would say this has been one of the harder seeds that we've played for sure, don't you think?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we got funneled through quite a few. In fact, I think the only large room that we didn't see was Happy Happy Village.
Yeah.
And
I just realized I just used a bunch of healing betas instead of life up betas before Gigas. That'll help my psychic point count totally.
Oh woo! Gigas is howling into.
I forgot that's what Gigas will be doing is how. I still love the time where Nessa's sprite was a phone, so I named him Ring. So, ring, ring, ring.
Oh gosh. Thank you again for the name and the sprite selection. This has definitely been entertaining to menu through. Ooh, all right.
Baited first turn.
Yeah, that seems to be the story of this seed, but somehow managed to survive. Probably because everybody was level 50.
I believe all of mine are in the levels of 50s.
All right. That's a done.
Good game.
Yeah, GG. Wow, that was close. That was floor 8 onward. That was just back and forth the entire time.
That trek to Gigas is just rough with the diamonds having the Starman, what would be the deluxe Starman.
Yeah, and the ghosts running around. Yeah, I wasn't. It felt like I was playing a version of Earthbound that had the piracy features turned on.
Hmm. Yeah, I could see that.
Spray Shuffle is so good.
Come on, let me just spawn the Starman things. Let's just get rid of those little diamonds.
I'm gonna have so many not here's.
Oh, did you have a bunch of no problem here's?
Oh, this might be 20 plus. I had so many. Oh, it's 14. All right, 2 chickens freed though. But
Oh,
yeah.
I think I got you beat on the chicken.
But yeah, there's the website again, Earthbound.app. I promise not all of the seeds are this brutal, but yeah, there are definitely some brutal examples.
Yeah, this would be an example of a brutal seed. There are some that are much easier. Hence, this one being rather difficult is the reason for the 3.5 hour estimate. But we could have definitely finished as quickly as maybe a little over 2 hours. I think my personal best is like 2 hours 23 right now.
I think we both PB'd in the other marathon, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the fastest I've ever done a no skip run was just a hair under 2, but everything just fell kind of perfectly.
Okay, as Ryu is heading into the fight here, I want to mention that this is the last call for the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic naming incentive. So if you want to name that character, you will need to do so before the end of this boss fight.
Alright, let's give Ryu our energy. No beta, no beta.
of phase 1. Yeah, solidifying into brain shock is going to be very helpful with this fight. Oh, here we go. First attack, just a lightning. Not too bad. More lightning, keep it coming. Yeah, no flash, please. Alright, one last life up. That was good timing as well. Okay, just 2 more. Looked like that was a Flash Omega, but no dice. Just need 1 more now.
Flash wouldn't matter. I had a knight pinned on optical.
Ah, okay, so that's probably the safer way to go. I had to roll with the Earth Pendant and just hope that the 50-50 went well. Whew. GG, Ryu.
That was rough. Good game. That Pokey quote. Still came in under estimate by 12 minutes even. But yeah, that was a rough, bit of a rougher.
Yeah, that was definitely. We were wondering whether that was a good estimate or not. But the nastier seats tend to be 3+. So definitely glad we erred on the side of caution for that one.
And it looks like the warning I made about Gygas' fight was not necessary because I think Chaz may have actually removed it for that reason.
Okay, anything else you two want to add before we wrap up here?
Just a thank you for having us, and I hope everybody enjoyed the race.
Yeah, thanks again to the RPG Valkyries for hosting this race and putting on a marathon in support of a great cause. Just really happy to to help out and support Take Those.
Awesome. Okay, with that, we will be moving on. Our next run is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. So we're going to change restreamers here. You might see the stream go down for just a brief second, but it will be back up. And keep watching, and thanks so much for your donations.